What is going on, Taylor?
What's going on, man?
Got a
How you
nice little
feeling?
feeling good, man. Feeling good. Was watching Megan with the family before I came up here, so probably finish that if they don't have the show pulled up. But if not, they probably finished it without me.
I
Pretty.
have no idea what that show is, so
It's a our movie. It's a new movie. Definitely pretty good so
gotcha,
far.
gotcha.
Basically about a doll that kind of goes crazy and stuff like that.
Speaking of dolls that go crazy, Georgia,
Yeah. Uh,
uh, QB situation going a little crazy over there.
yeah. We say too many natties. Too many natties.
Just a few, it seems, right?
Yeah,
Just a
yeah, yeah.
few, man.
Partying a little hard. Turned down the Senior Bowl invite, and
Now we know why.
now we know why. Man had a time of his life, apparently.
Man had other plans that involved some beer, so
Yeah, and I understand wanting to party, but when you're an NFL draft prospect, that's probably not the best thing to do. Probably not the best look. And yeah, so Stetson
no.
Bennett, put his hood up like he's someone famous. Like no paparazzi when he was leaving the what do you call it, the clink,
The clink.
staying overnight. Oh man, yeah. I just don't understand. Like, you're already going to be a late draft pick. If you're going to be a first round draft pick, maybe you can get away with it. Maybe you'll slide in the draft just a tad bit. But my man doesn't even know if he's going to get drafted, and now he's like, you know what? I'm going to live it up.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a rookie mistake by him. I
He's
mean,
not even a rookie yet.
yeah, it just a rookie drinker. You could tell last year after they won. I think he was on Good Morning America. You could tell he was just dazed. He had bloodshot eyes. He wasn't really understanding the questions that were getting thrown at him. He was just out of it.
Yeah.
And then now you've got him, on the repeat season. Now he's getting arrested for, I think it was drunken disorderly or public
Public
intoxication.
intoxication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which usually means you're a little too rowdy and drunk where you're not supposed to be drunk. And he got caught and
I think my
thrown into the clink.
problem with it is the fact that the reason why he said he skipped the Senior Bowl was because he wanted to train for the upcoming NFL draft. And the only thing draft was his beer. That's all I'm gonna say that he was focused on. So,
I mean, I will say this. Okay, I'm gonna give him his credit. Granted, I mean the national championship it happened a while ago, so the partying should be done by now. He is still considered a college kid, even though he's about our age. But
my man's about our man. We're about to be in the hospice and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It didn't sound like he was, trying to fight off anybody. It didn't sound like he was trying to evade the police like Baker Mayfield did, because Baker
Yeah.
did do this. He was intoxicated in public. He was about to get cited or, handcuffed or whatever, and he just bolted. I mean, the dude was fast. I mean, it was like a highlight tape for if he's drunk in an NFL game, how would he play? And he was pretty quick.
yeah.
But so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still in that college mode, even though he should be,
But
a little more mature. But he handled it a little more gracefully than, like Johnny Manziel has, a Baker Mayfield did, and tons of other players have.
yeah.
But he still definitely should, reel it in, focus on your NFL career, because you need to put every ounce of effort into it if you want to get drafted.
Every ounce. He's putting every ounce into his body, but maybe not into the draft. I think I have no problem. He won 2 natties, right? And drank probably a lot more. And the problem is the not Super Bowl, the championship is over. It's time to focus up. You're going to potentially be making millions, and NFL scouts are going to look at this, and they're going to be like, You said Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield was regarded in that draft as the number one quarterback. Stetson Bennett is not in that same regards. And so it's just different. And I know that shouldn't be that way. It just is. And then you just got to understand the outlook. You've already got people saying that and including us, saying you're probably going to be selling cars in Athens in a couple years. You've already got people who doubted your whole life. You were a walk-on and everything like that. You got to learn to win and move on and focus on the next. Because say if he becomes the quarterback and they have a winning season, you trust him in the playoffs? Is he going to go party? Hey, we've got first round bye. Let's go party our 1 week or 2 weeks off that we get. Let's go get drunk instead of focusing up. So on a leadership aspect, teams could look at that and just kind of be like, whoa. And especially, and I know this is not his teammate and the former staffer, they passed away in a car accident, rest in peace, a couple weeks ago. But it's not a good look to be like, okay, they passed away. Now you're drunk, and it just, to me, it makes Georgia kind of look bad. Like, you're just like, all right, like, I'm just going to go get drunk before this big old process I got going on.
Yeah.
And to me, it looks bad. And again, I know he's 21, or not even that. He's 25. And that's another thing. He's supposed to be more mature than these 21-year-old, 22-year-olds in the upcoming draft. And they're training while he's getting drunk. And so when I'm a coach and it comes down to a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick and I'm looking for a quarterback, this guy's won 2, national championships, and while he's a little on the shorter side, I could go with him, but he decided to get drunk and disorderly, not just get drunk, but, be loud, at least at the very least go to, he went to jail for a night.
No.
Compared to our quarterback who maybe doesn't have all the accolades, but maybe the same, because he doesn't have any intangibles that stick out to other maybe quarterbacks in his class.
The only thing he has running for him is that he has 2 national championships, and it was the team around him that got him there.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, if it comes down to quarterback A or quarterback B, and quarterback A and B are about the same, but one can't handle himself and can't handle his beer, or quarterback B who is at least working and trying to get better, who am I going to go with that late in the draft? Probably going to go quarterback B. So it's not a good look.
Agree.
And speaking of the draft, Will Levis and Stetson, like I said, both skipped the Senior Bowl. How is this going to affect their draft stock, especially Will Levis potentially going top 10? This could have potentially let him go maybe even first overall if he put on a good show, because there are question marks about Will Levis. And then Stetson Bennett, who, again, might be a late draft pick, but if he would have played in the Senior Bowl and had a good performance, could have increased his draft stock.
For Will Levis, I think for him it was probably a good idea to skip it. I don't think there's much more he could really prove than he did in this past season. I personally am not a fan of Will Levis. I don't think he has the arm talent that he needs to be the franchise quarterback.
He's got one of the biggest arms in the game, sir. That's his only strength.
I just don't see him. That's what I mean. You got to have an arm means you are accurate and you can throw it down the field. He doesn't have that. So I don't think him going there is going to affect much. They're just going to base it. They already have him apparently like one of the top 5 picks in some of these mock drafts.
A lot of them going to the Colts,
which is absurd to me, and I'm sorry for Colts fans if that's what happens. Stetson definitely missed an opportunity here to prove that he has, like you said, he doesn't. When you look at his tapes over at Georgia, there's nothing that puts him with the C.J. Strouds, the Bryce Youngs, or any of those quarterbacks. There's nothing you're like, wow, he's got that really agile movement. He doesn't have the quickness. He doesn't have the decision making to get out of the pocket real quick and make a play happen when the play's dead. There's nothing there that separates him from the others. He's underneath everyone, in my opinion. And being able to go there would have been a great opportunity, but he missed out on it, and it's definitely going to hurt him in the long run. Will Levis, I don't really think it's going to affect him much. People are high on him. So him skipping it's really just, hey, I want to focus on myself, get my stuff going in the right direction, get everything I need to get going. And, teams are going to be like, okay, we get that. We understand. Now with Stetson, it's kind of, you skipped it, you got drunk, you got arrested. Now it definitely hurts him. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to get drafted high or at all, in my opinion. Now.
Yeah, I would say Will Levis's strength is obviously he has a really big arm, but he struggles with accuracy. When scouts go to look at Will Levis, they're going to have to look at his 2021 tape and his COVID year tape. Those are kind of like his two best years. Last year, 2022? His 2022 tape, nothing stood out outside of his big arm. He wasn't accurate. He indecisive. He's athletic and a big arm, and that's pretty much it. He wasn't very accurate, and I know, it's the same with Anthony. But the problem is between the two is Anthony showed more pocket awareness, and he only had 1 year of playing time for Anthony. So when you're comparing Will Levis, and a lot of people there's a lot of Kentucky fans and Will Levis fans out there. They're like, well, if Will Levis isn't that good, neither is Anthony. And I get that as far as Anthony goes. He's only got 1 year, and that is his biggest concern is 1 year of experience. But Will Levis has 2 years, at least under his belt, starting. So you would like to see Will Levis have a little more progression. You would have liked to see his 2021 tape take that and build on that, but he didn't do that. Instead, he regressed. So as a scout or as a GM, I'm going to take a step back personally on Will Levis and be like, why did he regress so much?
Yeah.
Was it talent? No, UK had some decent talent. They didn't have an abundance of talent, but they did have some talent that he should at least shown that he can read a defense, and he didn't do that. It was more of a 1 or 2 read and then try to chuck it downfield or try to go for a run. And we obviously saw a lot of mistakes there with interceptions and stuff like that at the end of the season after they started hot. With Stetson, he showed up in big games, and he is athletic. I don't want to say sneaky athletic. He's just athletic. The kid can flat out run. Think Daniel Jones, right? Everyone thought Daniel Jones couldn't run. Stetson can run. His problem is his age and his height, and then you throw on to the fact that he doesn't have a big arm. There's nothing about Stetson that wows you when you're looking at his tape. And again, like you said, Uga had a plethora of talent, unlike Will Levis in UK, who had maybe 1 or 2 pieces. Uga had, talent out the wazoo, and so Stetson didn't have to do much. He did enough, but he didn't have to do much for them to win. And I don't think, and the problem is, Kentucky is probably going to take a step back without Will Levis, even though he wasn't great and they didn't have a great season. Georgia might actually get better without Stetson, with Brock Vandergriff and company there. So that's the difference for me. And then you throw into the fact that he decided to go get drunk and stuff like that. I know he's a kid, 25 years old, though. That's a grown adult to me. At 25, I knew not to go get disorderly and get drunk and go do stupid stuff to put myself in jail, especially not if there's millions of dollars on the line. So I think Stetson, like you said, is like if I'm 20, like me and you 25 is a lot different than Stetson Bennett 25. And I say that because me and you weren't going to go get millions of dollars in a week, a couple weeks. He is. And now he might have shot himself in the foot. And you don't want a quarterback to be shooting yourself. That's the last position you want, shooting themselves in the foot. So I think, like you said, he goes probably, I still think he gets drafted. But I think if he was going to go 4th round, it's probably going to slide to 5th. And if he was supposed to go 5th, he'll probably go to 6th. And just take a round later. And it's definitely going to reflect bad on him.
He's going to be a great backup quarterback for some team.
For sure. Now, we talked about Georgia last week. We predicted their schedules and maybe who's taking over for Stetson and stuff like that. We're going to head over to Bama this upcoming season. And who's taking over for the aforementioned Bryce Young, who is projected to go in the top 5 pick, which Bryce Young might be the best quarterback to ever touch Alabama's turf. So, Taylor, they have Jalen Milroe, they have Ty Simpson, and they have 2 5-star quarterbacks, 4-star quarterbacks coming in from this draft class, or this recruiting class, not draft class. However, I don't expect a freshman to start right away. Do you go with Jalen Milroe, who did start 2 games for them, or do you go Ty Simpson, who's a redshirt freshman, who you haven't seen yet, but maybe has a better arm, maybe might be more accurate now that he has another year under his belt at being a redshirt freshman? Who do you go with?
I mean, this Georgia, it's always going to come down to the quarterback battle.
Take 1 second real quick. You got to let your camera catch up. You are sounding robotic and lagging a bit.
Everything on my is messing up 100%.
There it goes. Go ahead. Nope. We lost him, guys. We'll get this meeting we'll get the show kicked back up. We're still here, guys. While I wait for him to give me a call back. I know we're getting ready to talk about Alabama, so stick around. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube and Spotify and everything in between. And thank you guys for showing out. Let me fix this date here while we wait, huh? There he is. Got the wrong date up there. Get this pulled up. But again, guys, make sure you follow us. And again, this would not be the booth without technical difficulties. There we go. Today's date is the 31st. Right.
So this is a Zoom issue going on right now. All right.
You sound good now. You sound straight.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. So continue with what you were saying about Bama and Jalen Monroe and Ty Simpson and all that.
I think it's going to be Monroe. I think he showed his ability of being able to come in during tough situations and overcome those situations and really prove to be a leader. I don't think he's going to be another Bryce Young, but I do think he has the capabilities, the arm talent, the intelligence to go out there and lead that team to a possible national championship. But again, just like Georgia and every other team out there that's looking for their next quarterback for the season, there's going to be that quarterback battle. And who knows, maybe he's not their top guy. Maybe there's something they're just not liking about him. They like their younger, fresher talent that's coming in, and they give the redshirt freshman a go. So we'll see. I think it's going to be Moreau. I think he showed plenty to get that starting job, but we'll see.
Yeah. I do say, I want to see Ty Simpson in the spring game. That's where I want to see. Before I throw him into the fire, I want to see him in the spring game. We saw Jalen Monroe play live football, and he didn't play bad. 200. He had for the year, he had 297 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And against Texas A&M, he went 12 for 19, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 81 rushing yards. He had 91 rushing yards against Arkansas. The next game he started went 4 to 9 with 65 passing yards. But to me, what concerns me about Milroe is they're already talking about switching his position. They've already kind of contacted him. Now, obviously, they're going to give him a chance to play quarterback. But his rushing ability is what really makes him stand out. Not his arm, not his process. What you saw with Milroe those 2 games was first read, run. First read, run. First read, run. Maybe first 2 reads and then run. So if he can make that progression as a passer and a processor, then yes, I would go with Milroe just because of the experience. But I do want to see Ty Simpson in the spring game, see what he has. And like you said, make it a quarterback competition. Because who knows, Ty Simpson could be that. But I don't think there's anybody to be honest, I don't think there's anybody on Alabama's roster at quarterback. This next season for Alabama, with Jalen Monroe and Ty Simpson, with how unproven they are and how much talent they lost with Will Anderson and stuff like that, I don't think this is going to be the same Alabama as old. No. And I know, Georgia has 5 stars and Alabama has 5 stars, but the difference is I think Georgia's just a more complete team. And I know that makes no sense. Well, Alabama has the number 1 recruiting class this year, but you can't count on freshmen to play every position. And not only that, they're probably not ready weight-wise, playbook-wise, and just not ready in general. Usually it takes sophomore, junior year before you fully see the potential of those players.
I mean, if you want to talk about number one recruiting classes not panning out, we can just go back and look at Texas A&M.
Exactly.
They came in with the number one recruiting class, and it just blew up on them. I mean, it was a complete disaster. So hopefully, for Alabama's sake, that doesn't happen. I think Nick Saban's going to be able to have a little bit more of a tighter grip on his locker room than
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher. Because Jimbo, he completely lost that locker room, that team, that entire. I don't know why we haven't heard anything about him being fired yet, but hopefully that doesn't happen with Alabama. Don't think it will, but it is a fact that just because you have the number one recruiting class does not translate into number one team potential. It takes time to get these kids together, get them on the same page, get them to understand the playbook, figure out what position they're truly fit and meant for, and all this other stuff. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, and Nick Saban's not going anywhere at all.
No. Especially with the amount of money that they are throwing his way. He has to be, in his contract, he has to be the highest paid coach in the SEC.
Yeah.
If anybody else in the SEC gets a pay raise and it's more than his, he automatically gets a pay raise to make him the highest paid coach. So there's zero chance he would ever leave.
When we get the results from the bet, whenever he gets access to the computer or the laptop, I'll really tell you.
I mean, I can see if I can. See if I email.
While you do that, I'm gonna try to get the Alabama upcoming football schedule up.
Here, after the show, I'll try and get that information off of the.
All right, got it.
Email stuff, and I'll try and get that all figured out.
Yeah, and listen, Nick Saban. I didn't realize Nick Saban, dude. He's a midget. He's 5'6".
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He is coaching people who are 6'8". 300 plus pounds. Imagine, and they're all afraid of him. They're like, "Oh no, Nick Saban gets after you, dude. You got to back up." And he's like a little chihuahua. He's like he's like, "Get down and give me 20." I'm like, "You mean 20 inches or 20 push-ups, man? I don't know what you're asking me. I don't know what you're asking." We stand our short kings here.
The thing with him is, I think it's the way that he presents himself. When you watch him on TV, you would never even question what his height is, because you're just like, that dude is passionate, intelligent, and is wants to connect with his players. He wants his players to be safe on and off the field. He wants them to play some competitive football. And the way he speaks, he doesn't stutter, he doesn't he doesn't do anything like that. It's complete full sentences with straight authority, and I think that's what makes him such a great coach. And because height does matter. If you got a 3 foot something coach trying to get out there,
we stand our short kings over here, man.
No, we do not.
Listen, man, you can't control your height.
No,
don't let Taylor or these women tell you can't find love, okay?
You can find love. I ain't even touching that subject. Okay, I'm saying if I'm on a football team and my coach, we get a brand new coach, he comes out and he's 3 foot, and I hear in the background, I'm like, "All right, guys, go ahead and go out there and give me 20." I might be looking around and I see that guy. I'm like, I am not taking him serious. I'm sorry. This entire locker room ain't taking him serious.
Do you think his favorite holiday is St. Patrick's Day? Do you think he runs around his? Do you think he runs around Tuscaloosa in a little green outfit, they're magically delicious?
I think that Nick Saban hardly celebrates any holidays. He's just such a gloom, serious all the time type of guy. I feel like holidays are a very sad occasion for the most part.
At the same household.
I would say Christmas is probably where you might get a little chuckle and a laugh out of them, but I feel like Halloween and stuff like that it's a dull event.
Yeah, imagine him because he's always serious all the time. At least that's how we picture him. He's at home and his wife's like, "Babe, can we go get some food?" And he's like, "All right, this is what's gonna happen. You're going to do a 12-out post. It's going to be a 3-step drop back. Then we're going to go forward. It's going to be a run. And we're going to meet the door. At the door, we're going to get into the car. It's going to be about a 20-minute drive. Once we get there, we're going to give the cashier our money, and that's how we score on 2. Ready? Break. And then
100%. I just know for a fact family vacations are planned like a year in advance. Like hotel stay, where you're going to be at. What the first day, every single thing, where you're going to go, where you're going to eat, where you're going to go get a drink, and then what time you're going to be back at the hotel is scheduled, written down on a piece of paper a year in advance. 100%.
He's the dad that's like, you're like, oh man, we're in Hawaii. Dad, can we go to the beach? He's like, no, the beach is scheduled at 2:00. At 1:00, we're going to go see a luau. You already knew this. You had the itinerary. I printed it out. I did the Excel sheet and everything. We are going by the book. And you're like, but Dad, I want to swim with sea turtles. He's like, do sea turtles, are they on an itinerary? I didn't think so.
You're cut.
You're cut. Get out of here. Ride the bench. I need a new kid.
I guarantee you family vacations are tough.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this schedule prediction, right? If we're going Jalen Milroe, they lost some big time talent. So let's see. Did they lose to Middle Tennessee State?
No.
All right. So that's 1 win. They lose to Texas.
Yes.
All right. We're 1-1. I can see that. South Florida?
No.
Yeah, I agree. They'll be 2-1 here. Ole Miss?
No, I think they'll edge out Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think Lane Kiffin's a good coach, but he is
not
what
good
it is.
enough.
Yeah. So 3-1. Mississippi State?
No.
No, they don't win that one?
No, they win that one.
Okay, so 4.
I'll just instead of saying no, I'll tell you win or loss.
All right. So 4-1. Texas A&M.
Win.
So 5-1. Arkansas.
Win.
6-1. Tennessee.
Loss.
Yeah, I'm thinking L there too. So we at 6-2.
Yeah.
LSU. I think that's another L to me.
That's an L. If they build on what they had last season, that's definitely an L.
Brian Kelly's got that LSU team. So that's what, 6-3. Not looking good. Alabama's already out of the playoffs at this point. Kentucky.
Win.
7-3. Chattanooga.
Win.
Yeah, that's 8-3. Auburn.
They're building a squad over there, but I think win.
All right, so 9-3. So we think they're going to go 9-3. Is it 9-3? There's 13.
Yeah.
How many games are there? 10, 11, 12. 12 games. So, yeah.
9-3.
9-3. So,
yeah, I mean, I could see Texas is definitely a 50-50 one, but
I mean, Ewers, if he can build off what he did last year, plus, I think he's got it.
I mean, the team that Alabama had last season barely edged out against a Texas team that did not have their starting quarterback for 90% of the game. So, I mean, a healthy Texas team, now that Ewers kind of has that playbook memorized now, he's healthy, and they've got that squad rolling. I think Texas has got him on that one. Although that running back position's interesting with Texas, see what they can get back there. But I still think Texas will get past them on that one. Yeah,
I agree. I think, and that's gonna maybe put Nick Saban on the hot seat. Two back-to-back years he missed the playoffs. Maybe he goes to Oklahoma. I'm just kidding. No. He's not on a hot seat anytime soon unless they go like 2-9 or something like that.
If they go 2-9 like 3 seasons in a row, maybe they'll be like, maybe he's on the hot seat. But you can't bring that many championships and then have cut like 1 or 2 good seasons.
But they are missing the playoffs. They are missing the playoffs because it's not till 2024 when the 12-team playoff comes in. So.
Yeah, but I mean, with his resume, too good. I mean, the season they had was still good. I mean, it wasn't a bad season. There's no shot that they'd be like, we need to reconsider our head coach.
No, I agree. I just think that Georgia is a new powerhouse. It's no longer Alabama.
Oh yeah. Right now, as it stands right now, Georgia's sitting on top. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, we are doing the SEC starting out. After we do the SEC, we'll move on to a different conference, predict their schedules, talk about them, and everything like that. We're going to hit every P5 school, so stay tuned with us. About sneeze there. We'll move on to the NFL, but Taylor, you want to take us in, make sure people follow us and everything like that?
Yeah, make sure you're following our Spotify so when you're on the go, you can listen to every single thing we're saying and nod your head in agreement or shake your head in disagreement. And then shoot over to our YouTube so you can drop a comment and tell us how much you agree or disagree. And make sure you follow our TikTok because we post clips and snippets of shows. That way you don't have to watch the entire thing if you don't want to. But we're always live on Tuesdays. Try to be on at 7 o'clock. Sometimes we have scheduling issues, technical issues, mainly on my end. But I'm working off of the old Chromebook, what you can get at the dollar store for about $5.10. Anyways, that's when we're live. That's when we try to be live. We are always active on all social platforms, so make sure you head over to them all and hit us up on there. We're very active, and we'll respond.
All right. So let's start with the NFC Championship game, and one might say it was not pretty for one particular team.
Nope.
The Eagles kind of dominated. Although their offense was kind of stale for the most of the time, but they found a way to win against the number one defense. And I think that's what people need to focus on is the number one defense versus Philly's offense. Yes, when Purdy got hurt, it was pretty much a wrap. But what the Eagles did, what that offensive line did, what Lane Johnson did to Nick Bosa, the only time you saw Nick Bosa in that game was when he almost got a safety on Jalen Hurts. After that, You did not hear Nick Bosa's name for the entirety of the game, unless it was people heckling Joey Bosa. It's the only time you heard Bosa all game, which was pretty funny. I mean, he was like,
"I'm a millionaire."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm rich. I can pay the fines." And it's like, all right, dude, like, cool.
But I mean, to be fair, Philly's
dangerous.
We went to a game in Philly, man, and we went to a preseason game.
Yeah, the
fans are ruthless, man. Ruthless. They do not care about your soul, your family,
you
your
got kids flipping you off.
Yeah, they will go after everything in Philly, man. They do not care. So I mean, I kind of get it. His response was like, "I'm rich. I don't care about fines." And plus, he's a big dude. That's somebody I personally wouldn't heckle.
But
he's not a small guy.
He's one big dude, but how many drunk Philly fans can he take on at one time? So.
But Bosa's not rolling solo. No. Bosa's got some backup. It's not just going to be Bosa. He probably has some type of detail with him. I'm not going to say like a Secret Service type of.
No, he probably has like Jackson Mahomes, doing TikTok dances to keep everyone away. Like, watch out, guys.
I mean that's a good way to get people to stay away from you.
I don't even know what TikTok dances, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the defense for the 49ers throughout the entire season was the best defense.
They were scary,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they were the best defense, and that was the main reason why they were the team to beat. It wasn't the offense, because the offense has been shredded due to injuries all year. Purdy put on a phenomenal show up until he got injured. It was still the defense that made them the team that they were, which was confusing because it was so lackluster. It was like they didn't know that the game was going on that day. Like you said, Bosa was almost non-existent. I know at one point he got injured on the sideline. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it didn't look like it was an injury that should take him out of the game or make him less of a threat, but they were just non-existent, and the Eagles were just rolling. If it was there, they took advantage of it, and the 49ers just kept giving it up and up and up and up over and over again.
Yeah. And Philly's thing, and Arik Armstead was one of the best run defensive tackles in the game. I like to watch, if you guys don't know, if you guys don't already, follow Brian Baldinger, former Colts and Eagles offensive lineman, NFL Network analyst. He does things called Baldy Breakdown. And I was watching his. I like to watch how he breaks down the offensive line and stuff like that. There was multiple play. It was literally run at Armstead, which the regular season you'd be like, no, don't do that. But for whatever reason, it was working. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, they were throwing this grown man left and right and opening holes for Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. And I think once the Eagles realized that they kind of had that advantage, that that was it. I mean, they literally just kept targeting that left side, or that we say right side. He's a right defensive tackle if you're looking at it from the defensive perspective, but they just kept running that way right at him, and it worked. Now, Purdy got hurt the 6th play of the game, pretty early. I mean, that's 6th play of the game. That's early, but Josh Johnson, the journeyman quarterback, you knew that coming in. You should have had Josh Johnson better prepared, because if the only quarterbacks you got are Purdy and Josh Johnson, the Eagles have
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. You got to potentially play with the potential that maybe someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Now, of course,
especially with the season that they had.
Now, we would have liked Purdy to maybe play through that injury. I know he could barely grip the football, but at least show some tenacity. Maybe go, no, coach, I'm going to go back out there, play another series, but like, oh, no, I can't really do it, and then the coach take you out. To me, it looked soft. It did, and I hate to say that. I know he's got a UCL injury, and he, in Major League Baseball, that's a major surgery. That's, what's it called, the Johnson surgery or whatever, for pitchers. Tommy Johnson. And so that's going to be a big-time surgery for him, and he probably won't be back, halfway maybe through the next season. So, it's going to be Trey Lance next year probably for the 49ers at this point now. But you would at least like to see him show that tenacity, to maybe that grit of being the last pick in the draft. Everyone's doubted you, to maybe find that courage, maybe that strength to just kind of go out there, because this is your last shot to prove you are worth the pick.
So I agree with that. I agree with the in the NFL, you got to have grit, and as a quarterback, you have to have the most. You need to be the one that sets the tone for the team. And while you do say that you would have loved to see him get back out there, throughout the entire game, they kept showing him on the sideline getting worked on, trying to throw the ball, trying to grip the ball. He put his helmet back on. He put his warmer on. He was sitting there just ready to go. I think this was more of a coach's decision to keep him out of the game, more so than a Brock Purdy not wanting to get back in there, because most players that don't want to get in, that helmet's not going back on.
Yeah, like Jimmy G, he's smiling on the sideline while his team's losing 31-7. So.
Yeah, with Trey Lance right next to
Trey
him.
Lance,
but Purdy, he put his helmet back on. He had his elbow wrapped up, but it looked like he wanted to get back in the game. I definitely don't want to take anything away from him, especially because he's a rookie. This is his first time ever being in a situation like this, and an injury like that can affect you pretty severely if you continue on and let it get worse and worse. It was a full tear of that tendon that goes through your elbow there, so he was unable to grip the ball. But eventually he did get back into the game. I think he only threw 2 times, and they were like check down passes.
Yeah.
So he didn't really try and throw it. And after the game, he said there was just no way he could possibly grip the ball. Like, that ability to grip the ball was gone.
Do you blame Kyle Shanahan because he's an offensive genius, but he did not, like, once he saw Purdy go down and he knew Josh Johnson, everyone knows, people who aren't even coaches know Josh Johnson's ability. He's been to 15 different teams for a reason. So while Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind, I would have liked to see him go, okay, we're going to have to go Wildcat, do something. We're going to have to do something different. Get CMC involved, get George Kittle involved and stuff like that. You have Debo, who's a gadget, just like Cordell Patterson with the Falcons. So you would have liked to see Kyle Shanahan maybe go, all right, we lost our quarterback. That sucks, but I have to get my team. I have to be the coach. I have to get my team under wrap. I have to get that confidence. CMC, maybe you're not throwing the ball and you take that one aspect away, but CMC was running pretty decent. He was,
That 100%. This is on Kyle Shanahan, and the reason we talked about this is once Jimmy G got hurt. So you have Trey Lance, boom. I think it was second game of the season hurt.
Yeah.
Then Jimmy G hurt out for the remainder of the season. Then you're left with Brock Purdy. You need to sign somebody else because you cannot just have two quarterbacks going in to an NFC championship game.
Always be three.
Yeah, you can't go in there with two quarterbacks, especially one that is a journeyman quarterback whose ability is just there to garbage time. That's pretty much what you would put him in for. Definitely not a backup quarterback for an NFC championship. And I hate to say that, because he's been around the league for 15 different teams, but you definitely need a third quarterback there for situations like this. Like, there's plenty of people that are sitting at home that you could have picked up and signed for a year for like $1 million. There's what's his name, Ben DiNucci. You could have signed up Ben DiNucci. There's the former Green Bay Packer quarterback. I can't remember his name.
Kurt Bunkert.
Yeah, Kurt Bunkert. I know he's sitting at home right now. There's plenty of quarterbacks.
He was with the 49ers. They cut him. He was with the 49ers.
He probably would have been like, yeah, I'll head right back.
Yeah.
He already knows the playbook and everything like that. So it boils down to the coaching staff for not preparing that team for potential injuries, because this whole team has been injured left and right, and they should have seen something coming, or at least prepared for a situation where Brock Purdy gets injured.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and they failed. And then whenever Brock Purdy was out, everything stopped. The only thing that they had going for them was CMC, and CMC can only do so much.
Yeah. And as you guys can see at home in the graphic, it says he got Brocked. What a Purdy injury. This injury is significant because, yes, the 49ers were going to lose at that point. Just was kind of written in stone. But it's going to carry into next season. You have Trey Lance. Didn't look good.
Who's going to start?
He's going to start. Did not look good. And he was smiling on the sideline, which, side note, if I'm your teammate and I see you smiling on the sideline with Jimmy Garoppolo, you're not my leader next season. Because we are losing 31-7. How dare you? I'm as a teammate. I am pissed off. Getting killed in the championship game, getting embarrassed on the championship game on national.
I'm not mad. I wouldn't be mad at Jimmy G though, because he knows he's gone.
Yeah, they were making him practice by himself. They were literally making him practice by himself. Yeah. So I get Jimmy G, but Trey Lance, come on, dude, you got to be smarter than that. You cannot be smiling. This has got to be going up to your guys, going, "Hey, I'm hurt," whatever, clapping hands and stuff like, "Hey, you guys got it. You got it. Get your head out the game," I don't want to see you cracking jokes. And that's just that. But, I don't know. The Eagles, this was an impressive win to me, but not as nearly as impressive when Brock Purdy got out. I think there was impressive moments for Philly, especially for their defense. I think their offense staled out. It didn't look great. Their offense...
their offense definitely needs some polishing up. And I think a lot of that has to do with Jalen Hurts not being 100%. No. And he came into the game saying that too. He said that he wasn't 100%. But if that's Jalen Hurts not at 100%, the league should be scared of 100% Jalen Hurts, without a doubt. Because there were some passes that he missed.
Big one at A.J. Brown.
There were some TDs he missed. But if that is a not 100% with a hurt shoulder, Jalen Hurts, digging deep, going out there and saying, I'm not sitting this one out. It's the NFC Championship. I'm going out and playing. I don't care if I'm not 100%. I know I'm going to have a target on my back. I know they're going to be going for my shoulder, whatever. I'd be scared if he is 100%.
We got 2 weeks of the Super Bowl, so, it's plenty of time to recover.
Yeah. If he's 100%, that offensive line does what they just did this past game, and your defense is the way that they played, that's a scary team. And I don't want to sit here and say that because I'm rooting for the Eagles because you're an Eagles fan, but as a NFL fan watching, that's scary.
Yeah.
And for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is still dealing with a high ankle sprain, and I know he said, he's doing good, and the grace of God,
fine.
And the grace of God healed me. But if he is actually dealing with a high ankle sprain, it will be a problem.
Yeah.
Because his movement and his ability to scramble out of the pocket is one of his biggest weapons. So I don't know if he actually has a high ankle sprain. I know he probably sprained his ankle, but when I watched the replay of the injury, it didn't look like a high ankle sprain. I've had a high ankle sprain, and the way he's walking around and playing into that game, somebody needs to start checking the juice that's in his water bottle because it's something other than water or Gatorade or something. Because I could be a month after, and I'm like,
yeah.
But he thanked God for giving him the ability to heal that fast. Which, and if he did, cool. But I'd still be worried and concerned about Patrick Mahomes' injury and potentially getting re-injured because I think this has happened to him a couple of times. I think his legs have been giving him a couple of issues over the past 2-3 years now. So,
yeah.
But the Eagles, they looked good considering the Jalen Hurts injury. He wasn't 100%. I definitely wouldn't say that it's concerning. 2 weeks to get straight, get healed up, rest up. I think they'll be good.
Yeah, and I agree. I think, like I said, the Eagles' defense was super impressive. They broke the sack record, and you have Hassan Reddick, and this is why we can go back to Kyle Shanahan for a bit. Not only not having a third-string quarterback, changing up your game plan. You have Hassan Reddick. I think he had 18.5 sacks at this point. Why are you blocking him with a tight end? On the play that Purdy got hurt, they were blocking him solo. There was no help. It was a tight end. There was no tackle. The right tackle didn't help block Hassan Reddick. It was a simple mano-a-mano, and Hassan Reddick is way too good to be blocking with it. And I understand. It's a play-action pass. That's usually historically what happens is the tight end blocks or at least chips the defensive end. But you have to gauge who he's going against. It's not going against a normal defensive end. He's going against Hassan Reddick, who has 18.5 sacks. As an offensive coordinator, you at least put another tight end over there, or maybe another tackle, maybe a backup tackle. You overload. That'd be the right side of the offensive line. Put that tight end there, let him chip, or have the extra tackle help block Hassan Reddick. You don't go one mano-a-mano. Hassan Reddick wins that 10 out of 10 times. And he did, and now Brock Purdy's hurt because of it. The Eagles' defense was impressive. The offense has the ability to do better. They played decent. They have a chance to do better. To everyone out there who doubted Jalen Hurts, including myself last year, this man needs his props. Last year, I was calling for his head, and it's time for me to stand in the paint. I said, there is no way he is a franchise quarterback. He had like a 50%.
Multiple times.
Yes. He had a 50% completion percentage. And everything. And I said, if he's going to be a franchise quarterback, he has to improve as a passer. And that was true. It's not like I was wrong back then. That was true. But the amount, and Taylor said this, he said every year at Oklahoma and Alabama, he improved. And I should have listened. I should have listened to the Sooner. All right, Sooner fan over here. Because that's what he did. He went into the offseason and said, hey, these are my weaknesses. I need to improve my pocket awareness, my progressions for reads. I need to fix my throwing motion and my accuracy. And that's what he did. And now we're seeing Jalen Hurts of potentially getting a big-time contract, and he's in the Super Bowl. So props to Jalen Hurts.
He's definitely given a big-time contract.
Yeah, and I'll stand in the paint and said I was wrong. And I'm happy to have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback now. Definitely a leader.
And you're happy to be wrong.
I'm happy to be wrong, right?
Yeah, that's one of those times like, whoo, I'm glad I'm wrong.
Yeah, man. No, I'm 100% glad to be wrong. Jalen Hurts to that offense is important. And Chris Sims, former NFL quarterback, said you can put anybody in Philly's offense. Jalen Hurts is not that important. Bart Scott said the same thing. Bart Scott said some stupid things. He's kind of contingent on that. Like, that's kind of Bart Scott's kind of thing. Say something stupid. And he said, Chris Sims is still saying it, but they said the offense will still be fine without Jalen Hurts, and that is the difference. We saw what happened. They could barely beat a crappy, very bad New Orleans Saints team, and they didn't beat them, actually. They lost. So they didn't with Gardner Minshew in there, who is a decent quarterback, they were not as good as they were. Jalen Hurts' ability to run scares defenses. So even though he did not run that much against the 49ers, they still had to sit back on those RPOs. And it opened up the field for Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell. So congratulations, Philly.
The only way that statement would be true is if you're placing in another great quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady, a Lamar Jackson, or a quarterback of that stature into that team, then yeah, you can plug and play with any quarterback. But you cannot put in Gardner Minshew and that offense work. We saw it. It did not work. It's just, it's not a built for any quarterback type of team. Yeah. It's Jalen Hurts is the reason why that team operates as smoothly as they do when he's on the field. It's plain and simple. Yeah.
Now, Ryan says in the comments, Jalen is good. He may become great someday. I would agree. I don't think he's great yet. He's a great leader. No. He has great attributes as far as that goes and off the field intangibles. But he does have, he's good. He's a good quarterback. He's going to lead your team to a Super Bowl. Obviously, we see that. Is he on the Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert level? No. As far as talent goes. As far as wins and everything other than that, yes, he is. But he is not up there. We're going to move over to the AFC, Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. And this game's got me feeling like the NFL might be rigged. We talked about it the other week. Taylor, your thoughts?
There were a few times where it seemed as though that the refs were siding with a certain team that were not in orange and black. But do I think it's rigged? No. I think that if you're going to boil it down to, oh, well, the refs cheated us, don't be in the position to let the refs cheat you out of a game. I'll say that time and time again. The 49ers were saying it when they were down 7-30. They were saying that the refs were calling bullcrap calls on them, but they were all legitimate. There were a few, but these two games, the way that they were officiated, does not convince me that it's rigged whatsoever. I just don't like the refs cheated us out of the game.
It's a lazy excuse, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I hate it. Even as a fan, whenever I say, oh, well, if the refs would have, not called us on all these bullcrap, it just, once I go back and rethink about it or reread it, if I posted it, I'm like, man, I look stupid saying that. The team should have put themselves in a position where if they get a 15-yard penalty, it doesn't affect them. You put yourself in a position to succeed. And they weren't able to do that, and then the penalties hindered them even more. And that's on them as a team, Yeah. But
and
that's my take.
I don't understand why no one's talking about they had 2 minutes, 2 timeouts, and a chance to win the game.
They messed that up.
They messed it up, and that's on them. The offense, and I love Joe Burrow. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. That'd be stupid for me not to say that he is not. But you give Pat Mahomes 13 seconds, and you saw what he could do last year. Come back and win. So you would like to see a little more out of your quarterback and out of your offense, because that is a high-powered offense, whether they don't have an offense line or not. They have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and they have Joey Mixon, whole nine. You would like to see your offense be able to take the game and put it on their shoulders. 2 minutes, 2 timeouts, get down the field, waste clock, get in the field goal range, have Evan McPherson kick a nice, easy field goal. They didn't do that. They gave it up, turnover, Chiefs ball. Chiefs march down with 50-something seconds down and win off a field goal. Yeah. So you would like to see the Bengals. Now, granted, the Chiefs were helped a little bit with Joseph Asai's little, late push. We'll get to that in a second.
A little bit?
Yeah. They were helped a lot of it.
That helped them out a lot.
That helped them out a lot. Especially because that was a 4th down. So it would have been a 60-yard field goal for the Chiefs.
Yeah, that would have been about a 55, 60-yard field goal that they most likely would have missed.
So then we went to overtime. That did help them out a lot, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you would like to see the Bengals, not blame the refs, blame your offense. Where did they get when the game was on the line? Where did they go? They were going nowhere. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I will reiterate this until the Bengals finally make a decision. They need to that offensive line. That's where it boils down to. The offensive line needs to be enhanced, or else this is going to be a repeat every single season. Give Joe Burrow the time he needs to get something going.
Yeah.
He can't formulate a good play out of nothing if he has like 1 second before he's being destroyed by 3 different defenders.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time that offensive line breaks down and he's got 3 dudes on top of him every single play, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the, if not the most sacked quarterback in the league right now. And if you want to win Super Bowls and you want to keep your quarterback safe and uninjured, fix the offensive line. Everything else is great. Your defense, you have a really good defense. That's a fact. You have a good defense. You just need to beef up that offensive line, and you guys are Super Bowl contenders year after year. Straight up.
I mean, and they almost made it this year. And yes, the refs were questionable. His cousin, Samaje Perine, was in the vicinity of that pass. That was not intentional grounding at all.
No.
Watching that at home, I was like, man, if I'm an Eagles fan or I'm a Bengals fan, I'm throwing a fit about that one. Because that did help the Chiefs defense, and obviously they had a punt and all that. And I get that. But again, I would just like to see that offense do a little more. And like you said, that offense line is bad. There's a lot of people hoping that the Bengals win just so that the Eagles defensive line could go against that offensive line. Like, oh, the Eagles.
You were one of them.
Yeah, the Eagles already won the Super Bowl, man. I ain't got to worry about that. And that should not be the problem. You see, a lot of these great teams, they have great offensive lines. You have the Chiefs, who have the number 1 offensive line when it comes in regards of sacks, is they don't give up sacks. The Bengals on the opposite end of that. The Eagles, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickinson, Jason Kelsey, 3 Pro Bowls, one of the best offensive line in the game. 49ers, one of the best offensive line in the game. Bengals, I don't know how they made it to the championship game with that offensive line. I don't.
Joe Burrow. And that speaks to Joe Burrow, how good he is. But again, I would still like to see them push down the field and get something going. And plus, I mean, you got to give some of the credit as to why they didn't win on some of the receivers. I mean, there was a play where Joe Burrow threw an absolute dime to Jamar Chase, and it hit him right in the face. In the face. You got to catch that. If it hits you in the face, you catch it. Straight up. If it hits anywhere on your body in football, it's just a known fact that if you touch the football, you should come down with the football unless you're interfered with, or somebody comes up and just absolutely destroys you. But if you touch it with your head, your hands, your arms, chest,
I mean, just look at Devontae Smith's catch.
Yeah, that one. Catch.
Smart on DeMonte's part with the whole hand signal, like, hey, I didn't catch that. Like, hurry up, let's go.
Yeah, he was like, let's get this show on the roll. Like, we need to get up on the line, snap this ball right now. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you can blame. You can blame the refs. You can blame the offensive line. You can blame Jamar Chase for not catching that ball. You can blame the coaching staff for not having the best clock management in the last 2 minutes. You could blame the late hit on Patrick Mahomes that gave them that additional 15. I mean, there's a lot that you can blame, but the refs did not cheat them. The Bengals cheated themselves, and that offensive line is the number 1
that's a headline
cheater
right there
in that game. Yeah.
That is a headline right there. Now, speaking of that play, that push out of bounds, Joseph Asai, rookie mistake. Quarterback next got to the sideline, 4th down, late hit, and we saw Pratt kind of go off on him, headed to the locker room. And as a media member, I know you're trying to get the shot, but that's maybe not the time, right? The kid's beating himself up. You see, he didn't even look at the play. He got injured on the play. He was on the sideline crying because he knew he had just lost his team the game. I don't like how Pratt took that. And I understand as a competitor, listen, I'm the same way. If I screwed up the game, I'm sad, but if someone else screwed up the game and we could have won the Super Bowl, I am livid. But you cannot do that as a teammate. You cannot sit there and berate him. You have to go, hey, that's not you. Because guess what, Pratt? Guess what? Did you not mention the multiple times that you were on Travis Kelce and Travis Kelce was wide open for a first down? Was that on Joseph Asai or was that on you? The fact that the Bengals are not he is not taking the accountability and he's putting it on. Now, again, that aside, he screwed up. You could say that he lost them the game. At least 80% of the blame is on Asai. You've got to be smarter than that. And LaShawn McCoy said that they like to take plays and stuff like that in the NFL from the previous season and show rookies and newcomers and he said that's going to be one of the plays. And I agree. That's going to be one of the plays that they're going to show and go, hey, don't be stupid.
That's a hot-headed play. We've got to stop these guys. You know, the game is on the line. I've got to make something happen.
Yeah, and he said he blacked out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. He tried to do something to stop Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, it was 1 second too late.
Yeah.
1 second too late, and it cost. That's what truly, and I hate to put the blame on the guy because he's already down.
80%. They said 80% of that blame does need to go on Asai.
Yeah, because they would have definitely missed that kick if he didn't push him out of bounds late.
Yeah.
But
kind of is what it is.
You know, you learn in next season. Hopefully they're better and they can capitalize on the mistakes that they made this postseason and come back stronger.
Yeah, I think they're primed for next season to do just as good. I think unless Brady goes, or no, he might go to the 49ers. Unless he goes to the Raiders, I think really the three teams again, or the AFC is easy to predict. It's the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Bills.
Yep.
So, I mean, every year they're going to have a chance. They definitely, like you said, need to build that offensive line. Chris Jones was eating that offensive line for breakfast.
Chris Jones is disgusting. Good Lord, man.
Yeah.
That man's nasty.
So don't blame the refs. Blame yourselves. And Joseph Asai for 80%. But
that poor man.
But listen, and I don't want Joseph Asai beating himself up too long because this is a NFL not for long if you can't move on and learn from that. But next year, he's not going to have the rookie excuse to say, oh, I was a rookie or I blacked out. You can't black out in these big-time games. You got to be smart. This is where intelligence goes over brute power and stuff like that. So with that being said, we'll get on to the Super Bowl. We have Kansas City versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They're wearing red. The Eagles are wearing green, so it's gonna be like the Christmas Bowl. A little late. It's gonna be Andy Reid versus Andy Reid's former team, Kelce versus Kelce.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna be a good game.
Oh yeah, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they are taking it home.
I could see it. Kansas City. I'm never doubting Pat Mahomes ever. So, I mean, here's her ankle.
My thing is, I'm not doubting Patrick Mahomes. I'm not doubting Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a mastermind in the game of football. We've given a lot of credit to Bill Belichick. We've given a lot of credit to Nick Saban in the college aspect. Andy Reid deserves some respect because that man has been a phenomenal coach his entire career.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. And what he's been able to do with the Kansas City Chiefs is great because this season was not supposed to end like this for them. Because they got rid of Tyreek Hill, their number one weapon. They had no one to replace him at the time. They lost, 4 straight games at the beginning of the season. Everyone said, it's a wrap, game over. They didn't lose a single game after that. Then they did the whole loop-de-doop-de spin-a-rooney. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Exceptional. The Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid, it's a hard team to bet against. I hate to say it, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs will win. But I don't know, both teams are just stacked.
It's going to come down to who's more physical. I think that's what comes down to it. And they're not being a homer. I think the Eagles are a little more physical of a team. I'm going to go with Philly. I think Kansas City could win, though. Like you said, Andy Reid is an offensive mastermind. Like 100 wins with the Eagles, 100 wins with the Chiefs, Super Bowl win with the Chiefs, Super Bowl appearance with the Eagles, 5 NFC championships with the Eagles, and a lot more coming with the Chiefs on the AFC side. He has dominated either division. Like, it doesn't matter if it's AFC, NFC, it doesn't matter. He has dominated. Now, Pat Mahomes, would Pat Mahomes be Pat Mahomes without Andy Reid?
Yeah.
If he would have got drafted to the Bears? I don't know.
Yes.
I think Pat Mahomes had all his skill sets, but he was raw and had to sit a year behind Alex Smith. But I still think, Pat Mahomes probably would, yes. Like you said, yes. He would still be Pat Mahomes.
As long as he had a quarterback that allowed him to be the player that he is.
Yeah.
There are some coaches that hold back players we saw Trevor Lawrence. He was held back his first year under Urban. That man was held back to the max. And then now we actually got to see what he was capable of. As long as you have a coach that's going to let you do what you're capable of doing and what you're comfortable with doing, rather than saying, no, you do this the way I say to do it.
Yeah.
Then, you're going to succeed. So I believe that, yes, if he was under a different coach, but still had somebody that was like, hey, I understand your talents and your capabilities. I'm going to allow you to use that and utilize it to how you see fit, as long as it goes with our scheme. And Andy Reid's allowed him to do that, and it's worked out phenomenally for them. So as long as he had a coach that would do that, I think he would still be the Patrick Mahomes that we have now.
Yeah, I agree. This game is, I don't think, I think the Eagles are starting with a 1.5 point favorite in this game. And I can see why, especially if Jalen is 100%. And, Kadarius Toney is obviously a threat, but he has injury problems. He did get injured the championship game. He's going to be back. It's 2 weeks. They're going to get the receiving core back. The reason why I say who's ever more physical is I think the Eagles are more physical on defense as far as their corners and DBs go. The Chiefs have a lot of fast players, but they're a lot of small guys. They're not super physical. So as long as Darius Slay and James Bradbury and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and company can kind of lock those receivers down, it's really just Travis Kelce. And that, I know, just Travis Kelce. Just Travis Kelce. Greatest tight end of all time.
Just the best tight end in the league right now.
Just. But if they have to watch out for what's his name? The running back. Pacheco. He's a rookie. He's a monster. That man will run you over, and he's fast.
He got shut down though against the Bengals.
But if the Eagles can shut down the receivers and that running game, and they only have Travis Kelce, you make that game one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I think that's the game plan for Philly, is just be more physical up front. It's going to be hard, man. They got Creed Humphrey, rookie center out of Oklahoma. He's already a top 5 center in the league. So,
absolutely.
Oklahoma represent, huh?
That dude's a fucking beefcake.
Yeah. And Oklahoma actually, we're going to, shout out to Taylor's Oklahoma Sooners. They have the most players in the Super Bowl this year. They got 2 for Philly. Sooner. They got 2 for Philly, and I think
and first time having a Oklahoma quarterback in the Super Bowl starting.
Yeah. So this game is the first of many, first 2 brothers, first of 2 black quarterbacks placing each other. The first of Andy Reid giving the Eagles a Super Bowl ring. So The first for Carson Wentz's, both Carson Wentz's backups to win a Super Bowl ring. Can you imagine? That's so disrespectful. People are still bringing Carson. They're like, man, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles was a backup and won a ring, and Jalen Hurts was Carson's backup, and he's going to win a ring with the Eagles. It's so disrespectful, man.
That man, somebody needs to put Carson on suicide watch, man.
Yeah, that is.
Because that dude gets dogged on.
My man wakes up and he's like, today's going to be a great day. The birds are shining.
Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback to ever play the game.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like, he gets crapped on.
He gets, and his own fault. He played decent with the Indy, but he did not play good with the Commanders.
No.
But yeah, so I think that Philly takes this game. I think it's going to be a close one. I thought the 49ers game was going to be close with Philly. Obviously, you lose your starting quarterback to kind of.
If Purdy was healthy, I think it would have been a lot closer.
Yeah. But I think Philly wins this because I just think there's more depth with Philly. And, I just want to see more Nick Sirianni looking at the camera going, I just want to see that. I want to see Jason Kelce doing his little dance with Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
But Kansas City definitely has the firepower, and you never doubt Pat Mahomes. He's the top 5 quarterback of all time. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I have my prediction. Eagles. I'm just going to go Eagles. I've got faith in Jalen.
All right, guys. Well, we lost. Kansas City won now, thanks to the jinx there. I'm just kidding. Man's going on FanDuel. That's why he's saying it. Man's probably got like a $100 bet that he's going to win with the Kansas City or something.
No. I'm definitely not putting any bets on this game because this one's a 50-50 for me. I think they're both. I think it's instead of, David versus Goliath, I think it's Goliath versus Goliath right now. Yeah. So
I just think
it's going to be a fun one regardless.
The funny
It's going to be an interesting, fun Super Bowl to actually watch this year.
Yeah, and it's that. Yeah, who played last year? The Rams or something? That wasn't that interesting. Guys at home on Spotify, Taylor is staring me dead face. If you guys don't know, he's a Rams fan, so they had to sell their soul for the. They had to sell.
We
their
got
soul.
One.
Yeah, they had to sell their soul to get one, though.
Still got one. We'll see you in 10 years.
Yeah, they don't have a first-round draft pick at all.
We'll see you in 10.
Yeah, so you got Philly, I got Philly. I think it's going to be a close game. Before we wrap things up, guys, we forgot to talk about something. Sean Payton, breaking news. Oh, just throwing pins out here. Sean Payton, breaking news, has been traded to the Denver Broncos for the Saints. Or the Saints get the Denver Broncos first-round pick this year and the second-round pick next year. The Broncos get Sean Payton and a second-round pick next year as well. So, our third-round pick. So, it's done. Russell Wilson's got his coach. Do you think Sean Payton can turn the Broncos around?
Yes, I think this is the best thing for Russell Wilson to get him out of whatever groove he's in. I mean, Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning head coach who coached one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game in Drew Brees. And he made Drew Brees who Drew Brees is and was. And I think him coming in and having the experience that he has is going to completely change that entire team. And I expect Russell Wilson to be the comeback player of the year next year, guaranteed.
Do the Broncos get to the playoffs? I'm not going to say Super Bowl to get to the playoffs.
I will say, yes, they do get to the playoffs. Super Bowl is that one. I don't want to say anything on that one, but playoffs, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I like that hire, man. Like you said, he changed Drew Brees' trajectory on his career. Drew Brees was hurt, with San Diego Chargers at the time. Was a good quarterback, wasn't a great quarterback, and now he's considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Russell Wilson, if he can flip things around, I think the Broncos are legit a playoff team. Still not a threat to the Bills, the Bengals, or the Chiefs, but they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah. They'll be a fun team to watch again.
No. Now, the other splash hire today was D'Amico Ryans going and returning back to the Houston Texans, which is where
for 6 years, right? 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, which was where we predicted him to go. Said they like defensive-minded head coaches. He had the number 1 defense in the league with the 49ers. We said as long as he squashes quarrels with the Houston Texans, that he would return to the Texans. And, well, Taylor, we were right. So don't be the one to tell you so, but, this is why you listen to the booth, because we told you so.
We got some insider information,
information.
Yeah. No, but hopefully that pans out. Hopefully it's not like another year and done, and then that another head coach gets paid for the next 5-6 years to do nothing. Hopefully he's there for the long haul. I hate seeing head coaches, get hired and then get fired after a year, especially with the Texans. I mean, they do have a couple of pieces. They got a really good running back. They got a great offensive line. They just need to find themselves a quarterback. They need to get Meche involved. They need to get another wide receiver out there and work on that defense. So I say within the next, So I say within the next 2 years is when you really want to start putting him into a position of how are you working out for us? This whole thing, the 1 year deal, you didn't turn us into a Super Bowl team in our first year, you're gone. Hate that so much.
Yeah,
and hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. D'Amico Ryans is a great defensive head coach coach. He's gonna need a great offensive mind, and I'm gonna throw a name out the hat. Brian Johnson. He helped coach Kyle Trask at Florida and made him the quarterback he was at Florida. Now he's the Eagles QB coach. He has turned Jalen Hurts around. He's looking for an offensive coordinator position, maybe. I think that would be a great hire for the Texans. And he's on the next list. People think he might be a potential head coaching candidate next year. So I think that would be a great hire. And the reason why I bring up Brian Johnson and his Florida ties is that apparently D'Amico Ryans and company, they really like a certain Florida quarterback in this draft that they maybe not get at number 2, but they could get at pick number 12, Anthony Richardson. Now he would have to sit a year behind Davis Mills and kind of progress and get coached up a little bit. That's why I don't think that the Texans are going to fire him after a year, is because they understand this is a project. They understand that they're going to need a good OC. They're probably going to get a rookie quarterback that's going to be growing. So I think that he'll get at least 4 years, and if nothing has established by then, that's when they'll probably kick him to the curb. But Houston ain't going nowhere. Well, they're going somewhere further than the Colts, so it would not be the booth if we did not torment my father in the comment section when he brings up the Colts. So welcome to the booth.
He does it to himself.
Does it to himself. Oh, man.
I mean, puts himself in them situations.
Yeah. But I think the Texans and the Broncos definitely got 2 good coaching hires. And we said Sean Payton I think you said Sean Payton to the Broncos or the Cardinals. So
it was, I think I said Chargers if they fired Stanley, whatever his name is, and then the Broncos.
Yeah. So, listen to the booth. We kind of got insider information.
We got a little something going on over here.
Yeah. But with that being said, what is this song? What is this music choice? Anyways, guys, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification to let us know whenever we go live. We do try to go live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, things like Taylor mentioned before when he did this through the break was the, sometimes scheduling happens. Sometimes there's technical difficulties like we experienced today and stuff like that. So it is what it is, but we are trying to get on that 7 p.m. schedule. So make sure you're here. If not, check Twitter for updates. We let you guys kind of know if we're going to be late to the show, if we're moving it the next day. Make sure you follow the Twitter as well and the TikTok for snippets. Maybe, like Taylor said, you didn't want to watch an hour and 20 minutes of a podcast or whatnot. You know what you do? you watch our TikToks, and you can go to our YouTube page and go over to our video section, and usually a lot of these important segments are broken down to 15 to 20 minute videos, give or take. So again, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.